Hey, Tar Pit crew, thanks for tuning into the Tar Pit Podcast, your go-to spot for all things Carolina football. Did you know you can also catch full episodes of the Tar Pit Podcast on Spotify? If you haven't already, make sure to check us out and follow us today on Spotify for all the latest UNC football coverage. Need fresh game day gear? Swing by the Shrunken Head Boutique or Tailgate by Shrunken Head on Franklin Street. Use code TARPITPOD for 15% off your entire order. Anytime in-store or online at shrunkenhead.com. All right, let's get into it.
What's going on, Tar Pit crew? Welcome back to another episode of the Tar Pit Podcast. These guys are messing with me. A special edition of the Tar Pit Podcast episode. I know I was waking myself up before we hopped on stream tonight.
We've been at it all day, folks. Signing day 2026. It's been something we followed all day today. As you can tell with I didn't mean to cut you off, Chris, but you talk about being tired, man. We've been glued to the phones. Chopping it up with recruits pretty much all day today, posting on socials, guys that are coming in. It's an exciting day. And it's good for us to jump on here and, highlight these guys, man, some of them.
Yeah, Trev, how we doing, man? How you feeling?
Good, bro. You boys know I love this day. I love this time of the year. We had some excitement today, a couple flips. Couple surprises, and hopefully we're not done. There's a few other guys announcing tomorrow that we're still in on, so it's going to be a exciting time. I was thinking, man, this is probably the most exciting I've been for a class since probably the class that had Drake May in it, to be honest with you. I think that we've got 40 commits, 40 commits, and maybe more coming in just from the high school and the JUCO guys we've already got. But I think this class could be a very big piece for the future for sure.
Yeah, I want to get in here really quick. We got 67 people tuned in live across, where we're streaming tonight. It's YouTube, X, and also Facebook. Whatever platform you're listening on, we appreciate you tuning into the Tar Pit Podcast. And I'll say again, whatever platform you're listening on, do us a favor. If you're not listening on one of those other platforms that you're currently tuned in that I just listed, do us a favor, go over there, subscribe, follow. We're currently trying to hit that 1,000 mark on YouTube, which is hard to believe we're even at that point, right before, I think, June or July of this year, we were at 94 subscribers on YouTube. So it's been killing it over there. We appreciate you guys tapping in. So do us a favor, share the stream out if you can. We're a grassroots fan-based podcast. It's also kind of morphing into something else that we never thought it would be one day. So that's pretty cool. We got some awesome news dropping in the next, week or so, I guess you could say. So stay tuned to that. It's all about the future of the Tar Pit Podcast and where we're planning to take it and go in the future, I guess you could say. So some really cool news that we're going to be dropping here shortly. All I can say right now is that we're talking with a bunch of other people that's going to be tapping in with us, and we're going to start to expand in other areas. That's all I'm going to give you right now. Not trying to be engagement farming on that or anything. But that's all I can say right now, because we're still talking through some things with other people, but exciting times for the Tar Pit in the future. So just be sure to tap in. Like I said, appreciate Will, our friend Will Moyer that just shared the stream. That's a big deal to us. So thank you guys for all being listeners and followers of the Tar Pit Podcast. Man, just want to kind of give the lay of the land tonight. So this is kind of just an instant reaction episode. We were on it all day long. If you follow the Tar Pit Podcast, our Twitter, we had kind of hinted at some things over the past couple of days because we didn't want to steal anybody's thunder, but we knew some things that were coming down the pipeline weeks ago, but we couldn't share them because we didn't want to take away from a recruit's commit or something like that. But we did hint at some things happening over the past couple of days, and that's what you kind of just get from the Tar Pit. You kind of just get our honest opinions and thoughts. But instant reactions tonight, right off the bat. We're going to do 40 to 45 minutes. We always say that, but it goes to an hour. But we're going to be tapping in tomorrow night at 8:30 for part 1. And we're going to do 40 recruits tomorrow night. And we're going to dedicate just that time to 20 commits.
Yeah.
Tomorrow night at 8:30. And you're going to get an individual video after that on each commit on YouTube. So yes, eventually that's going to be like 40 individual videos, just like we do for our position breakdowns going into the new season. We take this stuff to heart. We take this stuff serious. As you know, we are the Tar Pit Podcast, so we just love Carolina football and everything about it. And then Sunday night, we're going to be tapping in at 9:00, and we're going to be doing the next 20 commits. And we're just going to be going in order. And then over the next few days after that, you'll start seeing those videos go out. So you can go out on YouTube and find that one on Vodney Cleveland that's 5 minutes long, or Travis Burgess, or Nick Fremora, or Calvin Ridley, right? You'll be able to find that specific.
Calvin Ridley coming back. He got some eligibility.
Gosh, I did that last episode.
Calvin
Thomas. I did that last episode too. That'd be kind of sick.
Hey, that's not bad company for Calvin.
I know. 2 different positions, though, right?
Yeah.
But that's how we're doing it. So I will mention this again at some point in the night, because we got people just flowing in. So I know that people are going to be dropping in some comments and asking us to cover certain players. But tomorrow night, 8:30, part 1 or part A, whatever you want to call it, first 20 commits, one by one, breaking it down, giving us, our genuine thoughts. And then Sunday night, 9:00, doing the same thing with the next 20 commits. And then you'll get an individual video on YouTube, about 5 minutes apiece, just like we do for our position breakdowns. So boys, let's get into this. I'm stoked. I'm excited. Largest class ever in the history of Carolina football that we've been able to do research and find on. But I want to start here. And I didn't bring this up to you guys because I just wanted to get your honest, raw thoughts on this, right? I've seen a lot of people on Twitter, definitely from other fan bases, right, that are chirping a lot. Seems like they're always chirping. I'm not going to name their names. I mean, if they're listening, they probably know who they are just by not just being guilty of knowing that they are these people. But you got 40 commits, right? You got a rosters that push somewhere over a little over 100, these days. We got seniors that are graduating. Looking at that means more than likely we're going to have another turnover of a roster on a large scale, large size. But when you're looking at the roster today in college football, you kind of have to divide it into 3 different segments, right? Or 3 different scenarios, right? You have your college. I mean, you have your high school recruits, which is very vital, very important. You've seen some colleges or some programs approach it the wrong way, right? And they kind of throw that aside and they focus on the transfer portal, and they find out, don't have that development per se, that, missing out, bringing them up through the ranks, and also setting a culture is really hard to do it like that. So you have your high school, recruiting, right? And then another one, which I would call, and these are not ranked per tier, which one's, important or anything like that. And then another one that I don't think a lot of people think about or consider, because it's a whole different ball game when it comes to recruiting and getting commits, is JUCO level, right? JUCO. And then, of course, while JUCO is technically transfer, is still its own segment, I guess you would say. So, and then you have, after that, you have your traditional G5, P4 transfer portal. Looking at the amount of commits, as I've broken it down now, you have the high school, JUCO, transfer portal. We could start seeing some JUCOs hit any day now. I know we're in the running for one right now, very tightly. He moved his commitment back tomorrow. There's potentially some other ones in the works as well, but don't want to get into that right now. What's your overall thoughts as the roster sits? 40 commits coming. How do you feel going into this, right? Are you concerned with feels like a full roster turnover again? Trevor, I'm going to kick it to you first. Troy, and then I want to kick it to you and ask the question, piggyback off of that, of course, right? But how would you approach this? If you were in the building. So Trevor, kick it off. How do you feel right now with 40 commits coming in? Makes you nervous having to set a whole new culture again?
So I actually, you guys know, I've got my guy that is part of the recruiting staff, and Eric Collins brings up a good point. This is the exact same thing that the gentleman told me earlier tonight. This is basically 2 classes.
Wait, so Trevor, I
built
don't mean to
into
interrupt
one.
you, but you're saying you have inside sources.
Just a little bit, but it's 2 classes built into one, right? Because last year Bill comes in, I think it's December 12th. Or whatever. By the time that he came in, that class was pretty much done, right? That was mostly Mac's class. You had the guys that stuck around, the guys that left, but they didn't really get to recruit guys that fit their system, right? And that's one thing Lombardi had his press conference today. He stressed on, right? So they purposely went out and they had to, get what was there. But also this class grew larger because we've seen a lot of turnover, like at Penn State, losing their head coach. What do we bring? 4 guys from Penn State late.
Try to bring more.
Yeah, right. We saw changes from guys we brought in from other places. So you're always going to have your transfer outs, right? And the number can be scary, but if you can keep your core guys, like if we can keep Melcart, you keep Tyler Thompson, you keep those guys that you want to build your foundation around. When you're bringing in a class this size, you have the seniors that are already leaving, right? I don't remember the exact number of seniors we have. You're going to have some guys that didn't play at all that, maybe fans as a heart were like, oh, that's an NC kid. We wanted him to be something. But for whatever reason, he's not playing, right? So there's no point. This staff doesn't see him coming on the field. Yeah, we wanted him to be a superstar, but for some reason they don't see that it's going to happen. So you're going to have those guys leave. And guys that even we thought that was going to produce, like Chris Culliver, we thought that he would be a dog. For whatever reason, it didn't work out with this staff. So I'm with the one thing that he mentioned to me, man, and this hit me was with this class, there's some guys that with stuff you can't teach, like Vodney Cleveland, Trayshawn Ruffin. Like these guys have a motor that you got to like pull them off, right? With some of these previous classes, I'm not going to mention specific players, but it was almost like and I had a guy with Mac staff tell me this. That was a highly recruited guy that we had. I was like, what's up with him? Like, why do you think he said, honestly, I don't think he loves football. So there's a thing with this class that there's a bunch of guys that he's like, these dudes are like, these are real dogs. Like they've identified what they wanted. You got to pull these guys away. Like, so when you get these type of guys, it's something you can, it's scary because you're bringing in this many players. How many is really going to produce as a freshman, right? But I'm excited, man, to go 4-8, and to bring in these, like we're flipping dudes from Miami, from Texas, may beat Oregon out head to head for a guy. If you can go, 4-8, have all the distractions that we saw and land this class, I mean, I'm excited, man. It's going to be, we've got to hit the portal now and add some big difference makers. But I mean, I think it'll work out.
Troy, before you get in here, I just want to mention one thing. And Troy, do you recall what I'm coming to you for still?
You may need to remind me.
Okay. Is that people say, yes, Bill went 4-8. Massive class, still able to get these flips in, get these big time 4 stars, some of them very close to 5, right? Or very fringe high 3,
low 4. Yeah.
So basically like
see a lot more of that than the 4 to 5.
Yeah, 89.9, basically a 4-star, right? People say, well, it's just money. That's why Bill is able to do that. Yes, potentially, somewhat. But you also have to take a step back and also give kudos to the staff, right? Everybody wants to crap on Bill Belichick right now. The media, I think somebody at the News and Observer just did an article yesterday, I think it was, and it was basically like, are we writing a poem? Like if you read it, it's like very word crafty and like this and that and swaying in and out. And I'm sure that, never mind. I was going to go a little deeper than that. But you have to step back and say, yes, they went 4-8, but they also were able to still get these guys to come on top of, yes, the money helps, but also continue to sell them on the vision. So you have to give them kudos to that. Troy, I want to get you in here really quick before we kind of do our instant reactions on that, because I think it's really important that we address, yes, there's 40, right? Where do we go from here? 40 coming in, JUCO, transfer portal. What's kind of your thought and your vision as we go into our instant reaction part of tonight? And I got some questions already lined up that I'm going to throw to you guys.
Where do we go from here? I guess I'll kind of answer that. Obviously it's a big class. What I'm more excited about with this class is that out of 39 total signees or recruits, whatever, 36 of them are enrolling early. That's a big deal to me. You get guys early on campus. You already get them in the strength and conditioning with who's it, Moses Cabrera. We've raved about him on this podcast numerous times.
Nutrition staff too.
Yep. So you already get having the ability to get guys in the building early means a lot. You can, get your hands on them early, mold them into kind of the player you want, go ahead and get them established to the Carolina way and the culture that you're wanting, get them in the building, start throwing on some tape and seeing what these guys can do and get an early evaluation on them. Because at 40 guys, you're going to have the sooner you can get them in the building, the quicker you can start evaluating what they can do, what position, schemes, fits, all that good stuff. So I'm excited about that. It's the largest class in Carolina history. But some of these guys that we've got, man, are dogs. And Trevor, Eric in the chat, you talk about the motor that some of these guys got, and I'll talk about one on the defense here in a little bit.
And shout out, I put this up here, Troy. This is Eric Collins over on Twitter. He follows us. I know he follows me. So shout out to you, Eric. Also, Steven. I just put up Steven. He follows us on Instagram, I believe. And also, it seems like, YouTube, since he's commenting on YouTube. Shout out to Big K as well. Troy, did you want to finish that off and me get to some questions here? Or?
Yeah. So to kind of answer your question, where we go from here, obviously it's a big day for Carolina. They bring in some guys that I fully see as, and Belichick said it today, not just me, but Belichick said it himself today that this is a foundation laying class. And you've got some guys in here that have some talent. That'll be really interesting to see how they develop when they get on campus. I've talked about, the development side of this as being one of the most intriguing things to me about this whole experiment that Carolina's got going on with this. And with a class of 40 dudes, you're really going to see, what that's about. You can't complete, I'm anxious to see what we do in the transfer portal. Obviously Carolina's got the grade, the guys that we've got, staying or going. There'll be some hard conversations. Lombardi talked about that as well. You got a guy at right tackle who's a 57. You can, if he stays, cool, but you need a better right tackle. So you got to go attack that. So it's all about assessing the team, what your needs were, what worked this season, what didn't, and just kind of figure out how you can attack it and spruce your team up through the transfer portal. Obviously, the transfer portal rules are a lot different this year. There's only one portal window, so it's going to be interesting to see. Lombardi said it today. There was a guy that was adamant about it in their press conference that was aired on ESPN Plus. About the money. Is the money going to be there for the transfer portal? And he said yes. So it's going to be interesting to see who we target. Obviously, we've got guys that are leaving that have already, announced their intentions to dip out. Cool. Wish them the best of luck. But it's time for Carolina to figure out where they want to go. We got an early start. We ain't got no bowl game, guys. So it's going to be interesting next couple months with this. But to answer your question, that's where Carolina goes from here.
Okay.
You take this, you enjoy it, get guys in the building early, start building them up. And then we'll go into that in the season recap on more in detail on where they need to go, what we think on that. But to answer your question, that's kind of how I envision them attacking everything.
Okay, cool, man.
Hey, one thing I want to mention real quick you were talking about the guy, I believe it was Art Chansky, that was talking about, is there money left over?
Yeah.
So I had this question too, and I asked, and my understanding is you have the rev share, and then it's kind of still like the Wild Wild West where there's a gray area where then it's like you've got your rev share money. Then it's like, how much money can you get from businesses, from guys? And then that's your pool. So there's really, I guess, in a way, no limit if you can get it right now. There's a limit, from my understanding, on the rev share portion, but the rest of it's like a gray area, like how much can you go out there and get? So
yeah, I know I'd have to go back and dissect the corporation part of that, because I know what you're talking about. Like if Carolina gets money, they can't necessarily just hand it over to the player, but if UNC Health, gives the money to, they're an employee of that corporation. So I'd have to go back and listen to that. But I thought that was very, very interesting, and I thought it, to contribute it back to Chris's question or tie it in together. They're going to have to hit the portal, man. It's going to be interesting. I think one of the things too that we're missing in all of this, and I mentioned it in our last podcast, is, you got, Lombardi talked about finding out what the Carolina, player is, and this, that, and the third. And you've got guys on this roster that are Carolina guys. And, I'm anxious to see, what we do money wise with the returners. Because I've got my own opinions, and guys, and I think you will agree with me. We've had those conversations on who we like to build this offense around, who we'd like to build this defense around. And boosting the team up from the transfer portal. So that's going to be interesting as well, man. It's an exciting time. This is a full calendar that Belichick and this staff has had at Carolina now. When they got here, they didn't. Say what you want. Anybody say what they want about it, that's the truth. They got here a little late, and they missed. And I think they learned a lot this season. So we'll see just how much they did and if they apply it.
Yeah. All right. Let's get into this. We're already into it, but have 171 in here right now. Do us a favor, share this out, if you will. That, goes a long way for the Tar Pit podcast. Appreciate you guys hopping in the comments already, joshing up. We appreciate that. I'm going to mention it right before we dive into our instant reactions of today is how we're handling the transfer portal, or not transfer portal, the 2026 signing class at the Tar Pit. Is we're doing just instant reactions tonight. Then tomorrow night we'll be back on at 8:30. Part A, 20 players individually, going through them all, 20. Then Sunday, 9 o'clock, doing the same thing, the next 20. So that's how we're doing it at Tar Pit podcast, and you can find those individual videos of each player at a later date on YouTube. All right, so let's get into this. I want to ask one more question too. So like you just seen there, Trevor asked a question, Troy piggybacked off that, went into it for a little bit. We love doing that at the Tar Pit podcast. If you guys would ever be interested in like every other week episodes, or just like hang out in the studio with us three, because we have like so many crazy Carolina football discussions off air all the time that like we were like, man, I wish we could really talk about this online, but we're always like have to be so laser focused and stay on a certain time slot. If that's something you guys will be interested in, let us know in the comments. We'd love to do something like that every now and then, where there's not really like a specific agenda. We just get in here and like talk about Carolina football or like the college landscape as a whole. I think that would be kind of fun. All right, so let's get into this. Maybe Troy will get back in here at some point. There he is. I was about to say a ghost or someone had taken him out of his chair because he's off stage. There he is. All right, so let's get into this. Okay, guys, love you guys, and I love myself, of course, because you're supposed to love yourself. It's healthy to love yourself to a good to a certain amount, right? Anyway, let's try to keep our responses high and tight. Okay, high and tight, and let's just roll. Okay,
let's get it,
because I know how we are. Okay, Troy, Trevor, I'm gonna go to Troy first. First reactions when you saw the full class today, Troy.
When I saw the first reaction when I saw the full class today,
full class after day, flips came in. You've got 30 seconds. Go.
Yeah, I like the depth at some of the positions that we signed. Obviously, you look at the offensive. Are we going offense first? Pause on my time.
Just wherever.
Just wherever. Okay.
Pause on my time.
All right. Speed marker. So you look at the depth. I mean, how many we signed numerous DBs, offensive line. We've got some depth there with some young guys that you can get in the building. And those two, I mean, offensive line and defensive line traditionally are the two longest positions to see development at. the margin for error at those two positions are very, very slim, and you got to get. So that's why I'm excited about guys getting in the building early. You can get them in with the position coaches and teach these guys up and get them fundamentally sound, and then from there it's all about their individual progression. But overall, I like the depth of it. That's the biggest thing that stands out to me. And Trevor talked about the motor of some of these guys. I've watched tape. I mean, some of the guys that have been committed to us a little bit longer than our most recent ones. I need to go back and look at some of the ones that committed most recently. But what screams out to me about this class is the loyalty of them. There was a lot that went on with Carolina football. My contact's drying up on me. I got this heater blowing straight in my face. Sorry. It's cold.
That's part of your time, by the way.
Yeah, it's all good. But
you're already over.
The loyalty of them is what stands out to me the most. There's a lot surrounding Coach Belichick, the Carolina program, and for these guys to be, obviously we've lost some, but for these guys to stay locked in. Lombardi mentioned it today. I think that probably is what sticks out to me the most. That and the depth. You got a lot of young guys coming in at certain positions that you can come in and develop. I think that's my overall take.
All right, Trevor, do a little bit better job than Troy here. 30 seconds. Love you, Troy. Just messing around. First reactions
30
when
seconds
you saw
is tough.
First
45. Yeah, Trevor, give you 45.
The full class.
No, I got it. So like I said, you go 4-8, you bring in these guys. Like we got some dogs, right? You got the number according to 247 Sports, 24/7 Sports. I forgot AJ told us how to pronounce it. Number 17 ranked class. ESPN, we got the 12th ranked class in the country. That's ahead of multiple SEC programs, multiple Big Ten programs. To go 4-8, have a class like this. And my biggest takeaway with this class is the size, boys. Look at the size of the DBs we're bringing in, the wide receivers we're bringing in, the defensive tackles we're bringing in. These are massive kids. So I'm hyped for it, dude. Like I said, this is the most excited I've been for a class since the Drake May class.
So for me, I think when I'm looking at it, right, put Trevor full screen there. That's not part of my time, that one thing there. Is that I was going to go right there with Trevor is the size. Like if you look at a lot of the DBs, safeties, secondary class, and you look up prototypical for each of those positions, a lot of them, while some of them maybe fall right on the fringe of what you're looking for when it comes to prototypical, a lot of them are at the high end of a prototypical like DB that you want, 6'2", long arm span. Right. So I really like that there. I love, like you talked about, the size of the defensive line for sure. I think four of them, I think are like right around the fringe or a little over the 300-pound mark. Right. Which, man, that's a big deal coming into, whether that's good weight or bad weight. I'm not sure at this point coming out of high school, but the staff that they have will be able to, shore that up. One of the things I like the most is when we've had the opportunity, if you're just following Tar Pit Podcast, we have Behind the Commitment where we talk to recruits. And we're resuming that after signing day because we kind of paused it for a little bit. We were like, it might be flip season. Some of them, we don't want to get somebody on and then they flip. But all of them said the same thing. All of them were saying the same thing. When we talked to their parents, they were all saying the same thing. And they all loved Belichick and meeting Belichick and talking with him and sitting down. The staff, the recruiters, the position groups, all of them were like student athlete. I care about my academics. I care about going to school. I care about my teammate. I'm ready to, like, if you listen to Crew Davis's video that we dropped today, I'm ready to build chemistry. I think Nick Fermora said the same thing. So that's kind of where I'm at, is that not only are these seems like kids that can perform at a high level, right, that they're high character kids too, from what we can tell.
Zion Smith, shout out to Zion. Him. Every time I see a video of that dude, I mean, and we had Nick on a live game day show, sitting with him. His poise and character and demeanor for a high school kid is unlike anything I've ever seen. Moose, and then Zion, shout out to him too.
So here's my next question to you guys. Did UNC meet, exceed, or fall short of expectations? I went to Troy first. Trevor, you got it.
I mean, it exceeded it to me. Like I said, if you can go 4-8 and finish with a class that, if we land one or maybe two of these guys tomorrow or by Friday that we're going after, this could be a top 15 class. So, I mean, that's elite. That's elite, right? So I'm excited for it.
Troy.
I'd say they met slash succeeded. And I'll lean more or exceeded. I'll lean more on the exceeded side just because of, like I said, the depth of in which we've got 7 offensive linemen, 10 D linemen. I mean, that's insane. And for us to have a 4-8 season and still, rally off the class that we had says something about these guys staying locked in, but it says something about the staff too, of transparency and, staying in contact with guys and letting them know. You know what I mean? When all that stuff came out after the Clemson game, they said Belichick and them were on the phone immediately with 26 class, like making sure that they were locked in. So we didn't really lose much neither.
Boys, what's crazy with that is how many guys on the staff do we have that's actually recruited before? I mean, really, like, you've got a bunch of pro guys from the NFL.
Yeah,
You got
Mondo.
some, you got Mondo, you got
Eric
some.
McGee.
I mean, McGee, but I mean, like, Lombardi brought in a bunch of pro scouts and guys like that. So to do what they did, man, I'm not making excuses because obviously the season didn't go as planned, but I think they did a really good job with this class.
I think for me, I think they exceeded for sure. Definitely just because of the like you both mentioned, a lot of the all-field drama. I think it was very impressive that they only lost the amount of recruits that they did, and that's going to happen in any. You're going to lose recruits usually, no matter. I mean, we saw it Georgia to
People use it
Vanderbilt,
against you.
right? We saw Alabama to Vanderbilt, right? This today, or was that yesterday? That was today.
Yeah, today.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right. I mean, I know money talks, but like no matter what school, you're gonna lose recruits. So I thought that was very impressive. I think the only position that I would have liked to seen at least one more recruit at, and maybe it does happen, or maybe they're gonna address it at the JUCO or transfer portal, is tight end. Or maybe they're already happy with what they got. But I think from a development standpoint, I would have liked to seen another tight end outside of Carson Snead. We have two.
Don't forget about Dream. Yeah, Dream.
Yeah, Dream. So I guess that was him that they got to flip, right? Okay, so there you go. That was me misspoken. I forgot about him because that happened specifically today. I think the only other thing I would have liked to keep, kept Lawrence Brown. Looking at his film, I thought he was highly I would say slightly underrated. He had a lot of P5 schools after him, a few P4s. He's the kid today, linebacker, Grayson High School, that plays with Travis Burgess down there in Georgia at Grayson. He was hurt most of this year, but great kid. We had discussions with him in an attempt to set up a behind the commitment, and it was going to happen at some point, but he flips his commitment to state. And look, that's okay. And we got 200 people in here, and I just kind of want to take this chance to say, look, guys, sometimes it's good just to take a step back, right? Even though it sucks losing to someone to state or Duke or any other school, it's okay. You don't have to get up under the comments and say crazy stuff like he wasn't going to play anyway or this or that. There was a lot of kids this year that played that you would have thought would have never played. So, just wish him well and move on, right?
Yeah.
I hated to lose Lawrence Brown. I thought that he was a good prospect, was slightly under recruited, and I would have liked him on the edge, which was interesting. I was reading the article of the plans that State had for him, and I think they had planned to use him on the edge of the linebacker role, which was opposite of what UNC had planned for him. Don't quote me on that because it was all happening very quick today. But that's one I would have liked to kept. I would also have liked to kept Cooper that flipped to where did he end up going, Trevor?
He went to Purdue. We traded Cooper for Dream. So Dream came from Purdue. Cooper went to Purdue, both tight ends.
Okay. All right. So let's get the thanks, Trevor, for chiming in that. That's interesting. We traded there. Troy, I went to Trevor first on the next one. What was the biggest wow moment of the day for you?
Biggest wow moment of the day for me. I mean, everybody that I guess I guess the I don't know, everybody that we had coming in, we kind of foresaw a couple weeks ago, to be honest with you. I guess the dream, him coming in. I can't remember his
Very
last
nice.
drawing a blank for me, but guy comes in from one of the best high school football programs in the country at Buford down in Georgia. So I think he's like 6'6". I think somebody said in the chat. So I think anytime you can get a guy like that, I think I was the one sending out the tweets. I said Purdue wasn't the move anyways. So I mean, Chris, I never really didn't think about the tight end room. I know I think we were a little slack on running back too. I know we got Crew. I think we only signed 2 running backs, but maybe the staff's confident we can keep 12.
Well, Troy made a good point. I think there might be a potential of a potential to look for a position change on one of them that's listed as a athlete. But we can talk. Let's save that for
we'll do that
part
when
one
we
and part
break
two.
them down. My wow is, even though we knew it for a little while, is Vodney Cleveland. That's my wow for the day. Anytime you can, Vodney was committed to Bama, then he went from Bama to Texas, and now we got him. And this is my guy. We're going to talk about a few guys tonight, but this is my guy that was my wow moment. Like, okay, yeah, it's official. I was getting nervous because there was a certain time we were told that we thought we were going to see it come out, and it didn't come out. But Texas, I believe Yahoo Sports tweeted out this morning, Texas had signed them. We were like, oh, not so fast.
Yeah.
And then we got them. So that was my biggest wow.
Yeah, that was my biggest wow too. I mean, like you said, we knew it was coming down the pipeline for today for sure. I think I designed this graphic right here a little over a month ago, which is just crazy to think. And I, drafted the language and everything a month ago. So definitely Vodney, if you, I mean, it doesn't, you don't have to be an insider to know that Vodney was coming anyway. I feel like.
He never missed a home game.
I mean, yeah. I mean, if you just read the tea leaves, I mean, who's training in a UNC shirt when they're committed to Texas? Kids are different these days, I will say. But I don't know.
To be fair, he had already told the coaches he was coming. We knew he was coming before he was training in that shirt. Some people didn't know that.
So
yeah, I like what Steve put in here too. I don't know if we threw this up here. Went to Holmes and recruited. Went a long way. People said he would. People question. I don't know if anybody said he wouldn't do it, but there was a lot of questions on how that would go, and his ability to go into these high school kids' homes and connect with their parents. Everybody raves about. There's been talks about. We've had discussions about his demeanor at times, guys. I mean, most recently we did. And but so his ability to go into these and talk with these high school recruits and go to these schools and get on. I think he said it in his press conference. They were up at 7:00 this morning getting it, on Zoom with recruits and talking with them however they get in front of them nowadays, FaceTime, whatever. But it says something, man, especially with all the stuff that they had coming out about him. For him to be able to stay the course and keep these guys on track, that was definitely a big wow moment too.
Yeah, I think for me the Vodney was my biggest one for sure. Yeah, I actually put up that was a good point by Stephen Roberts there over on YouTube, because I had put up a tweet there this morning about that. I think you guys retweeted it. Just gotta give your shout out, regardless of how you feel about Bill Belichick in year one. You gotta give his kudos or hat tip to him. And of course, certain fan bases said every coaches are supposed to do that. That's not what the point of the post was, my guy. If you read it and comprehend it, which is not hard to do, the point of the post was saying hat tip to him because there were certain national media and local media saying that he would not get out and recruit, that he would not be able to relate. He was on planes. He was in what looked like with Xavion Griffin-Hayes, a storage closet, taking a photo.
I think he went to one of Moose's games, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Could be wrong on that.
Yeah. I mean, I think it was a State fan come under my comments, of course, on their signing day, They should be celebrating their own commits. But I'm just saying, right? Comes under my post, which is fine. That's fine. But just says, oh, wow, he called him. That's so amazing. It's like, no, he actually visited this recruit just a month ago in person at a game. So you can pipe down, little guy. You know how I can get. I'm just saying. It's
Well,
just like
to go a little deeper with that,
reading comprehension can be so hard sometimes.
His mom specifically, that recruit's mom specifically sent you that, right?
Yeah.
As a so that meant a lot to her. So you can see like him connecting with parents and moms, and like for her, it's not like Chris was sitting there on the couch recording that video, you know, when you have like families of these guys, like, look at this, Bill Belichick talking to my son. Like, I didn't expect him to do this. So,
and talking about his most recent game, I think they got a win, and he congratulated him on that. So
yeah. So that's the point of my whole post to Stevens, is that everything the media said outside of wins and losses this year, it is what it is at this point. The first year was, he has done, right? You got Pablo over there saying, I don't think he's probably a good chance he doesn't make it to week one. He makes it to week one. He's not going to recruit. He recruits. He's not going to get commits. He gets commits. He's not going to be able to relate. He relates, because every single recruit says what? That
completely
he's
otherwise.
funny. That he's funny. That he tells jokes that you would never believe, stuff that would come out of his mouth that are just hilarious.
Hey, now they're saying he's not going to win in college.
Of course. I mean, there's always going to be.
We're going to have to change that next.
Okay, like win to what percentage? If he wins 8 games next year, they're going to say he can't win 9 games. Next year's schedule is very hard anyway. Anyway,
well, next year's schedule, 8 wins might get you in the playoff. I mean, we might see an 8-win team in the playoff this year.
7-win team, 8-win, yeah.
8-win, yeah, right. Is Duke 7-5?
Yeah.
Great for them. Anyway, where do you guys want to take this?
I'd like to highlight a couple guys, man. You know, we'll obviously do an in-depth breakdown of everybody, but we talk about wow moments. Let's talk about some guys that, you know, we personally, Trevor, you and I have talked about some guys that stand out on tape to us. Like to kind of get in some of that. What you got, Trev?
Go ahead. Let's go with who you want first, CJ?
Yeah. Throw CJ. I'll get CJ up here. Because I think this dude, man, looking at his film, I mean,
I'll do the film. You just do the talking.
Yeah, I got you. I appreciate you. I mean, this is a dude, 2024 Max Preps Player of the Year in Michigan, 12-2, Division I state title, and most recently in 2025 named the Alpha Dog at Nike's Next Ones by 247 Sports in February. So you look at his tape, man, he's a big play waiting to happen. He comes in as an athlete. He plays both sides of the ball. I think he had a pick 6 in this game as well. And I believe, yeah, right here. I mean, you can see where, you know, in relation to the field that's a long pick 6. So he's a guy, man, I fully anticipate him. I think he's 5'9", $180, if I'm not mistaken. But he's a guy that I think would be deadly in the slot. I mean, a guy that's almost reminds me of a stockier Josh Downs, to be honest with you. He's a guy that I think is a big play waiting to happen. I primarily see us using him in the offense or on the offensive side of the football, but for him to have the ability to play both sides shows what kind of athlete he is. He's not scared of contact. He will run through you. He's got a low center of gravity. Low man wins in football. And not only that, he's hard to tackle. I mean, some of these plays in this highlight, he's just like, you can't get the guy down. I mean, you think he's going this way, he's going the other way. I mean, what's the Chris Berman from Friday night from the movie? He's gone. So I'm excited about CJ, man. I think he can be a big playmaker for us at wide receiver. Special teams too. The dude does it all. He's a guy that you can't, you know, once he's on the field and he's in a rhythm, he's deadly.
Troy, let me ask you this: what else does he do? And I've heard you say it a lot, that you love.
He's gonna talk. He's gonna talk. He's gonna let you know he's out there. And I think that's one thing that, that wide receiver room. I mean, we've had JJ. JJ was a talker. Jordan Ship's a talker. We've had guys that, that talk big, but also back it up with their play. And I think CJ is a guy that is a prime example of that. He's going to go out there and he's going to bust you over the head for about 250, and he's going to let you know. He's going to score 4 touchdowns on offense and 2 on defense, and he's going to let you know. And I think there was a game that happened earlier this season where the team didn't want to shake their hands, and CJ's like, he's like, I've seen you cry before. Like, you ain't like that. I've seen you cry before. And I'm telling you, bro, he's a dog.
Oh, you sent that video in our group chat. I remember that.
He is a dog, and he's going to let you know every play that he's on the field. And Steven said this too, footwork. I mean, he is a guy that I fully anticipate can be a big playmaker in our offense.
Love it.
Yeah, I was gonna say when you were talking about CJ, and that's the thing that came to my mind was his talking. Got a little bit of Steve Smith in him.
Yes, sir.
I love that. Got a little bit of Steve Smith in him, right? So
he's 5'9", but he's 6'6" in the way he handles himself and goes about his business.
I'll be real with you. The whole time since he's been committed, and out of probably this whole class, CJ was the one because I wanted him on campus so bad. I was worried. I was like, please don't let Michigan get on him. Please don't because I wanted this kid so bad. So yeah. I'm very excited about CJ. And I saw one of the guys here mention his footwork, man. Next level. We saw, how many Madrid Tucker, how many young guys do we see come in and play early? I think CJ is a guy that we'll probably see on the field next year because he's a difference maker. And I love what you mentioned about Josh Downs. I see the same. Yeah. Reminds me a lot of Josh in the way he runs routes, his footwork, his swagger. I like that comp a lot.
His ability to work in space. We talk about this season with our wide receiver group, being able to make the most out of every play. You look at the film, CJ's taking screen passes to the crib. I mean, he's a prime example of a guy that's making the most of every play. And I know it's high school level, there's guys at there's a step up in competition. But the one thing that I think has a hard time translating for some of these guys is the mindset backing up the play. And I don't foresee that happening with CJ Sadler at all.
Troy, let's go here next. Chapman, right? Wide receiver, completely different type of player, I would say. But I want you to, both of y'all to kind of give him your thoughts right off the bat. 6'4", 195 pounds out of Alabama. Yep. Offer sheet was a mile long. Arkansas, Colorado, Miami, USC, UCF, TCU, South Carolina, Purdue, Georgia Tech. But Carolina was able to go down in a recruiting battle with him in Florida State, or us in Florida State. I thought the staff did a hell of a job being able to land him. I until a day before, I was not very confident that we would, due to some of that previous connections from the Carolina staff prior being at Florida State now on the recruiting side. And what's her name, Trevor?
Molly. Molly.
Yeah, Molly's there. And so it came down between Florida State and UNC and ended up at North Carolina. I really like him, man. 6'4", 195 pounds out of Jackson, Alabama. Let's talk a little bit about him.
Yeah, I mean, you list his measurables, 6'4", his size and his weight. But what I like too about him is he's a two-sport athlete. I mean, he helped his high school win back-to-back 4A state titles in Alabama as a junior and a sophomore. But in terms of football, 6'4", he's an outside guy, vertical threat. He has no shortage of catches over 25 yards throughout his high school career. And we need a guy like that. Somebody that, Jordan Ship was a sophomore this season. He'll be a junior next year. Keon's a guy that can come in with size and measurables, and his ability to, to get downfield and turn 50-50 balls into 70-30 balls that's another guy that if you develop him right, he can complement, another guy on the opposite side of the field. But what I like most about him too, in Carolina in terms of, their offensive scheme this year, was, establishing a run game. This dude loves to block. And at wide receiver, every wide receiver coach that I ever had in high school and in college, they told me, you're going to play wide receiver, you're going to have to block. And it sucked. I hated blocking. I did. I couldn't stand it. I wanted to run routes and get people and sit people down and show them what these hands is about. But Keon's not afraid to block.
Iceman.
Yes, sir. And that's what I like about him most, man. He's I'm reading something on here that says he's probably faster than he is quick, but you get him in the game, you look at his tape, he doesn't show any lack of explosiveness and a willingness to go and high point the football. I mean, you need that at wide receiver. So the two people that stuck out to me on the offensive side of the football in terms of skill positions were C.J. Sadler and Keon Chapman. I know we got other wide receivers within this class. Carnell's a guy that I'm high on as well. I think he can get in the mix and develop him right. Carnell Warren. But those two guys.
Both 6'4".
Yeah. Good God, Trevor, you just busted my ears wrong.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I told him. He gets excited, bro. And he's like,
you got to relax. You need to get you a chair like me.
Sorry.
I've got my feet kicked up. I'm cooling.
Hey, once my NIL check hits, so we'll do that.
Chris,
bullshit. I'm still waiting for my NIL.
Troy brought us on, brother. I've been here a year. You gotta wait your time, Chris.
Yeah.
So
that's all I got on and he goes by Red, actually. Red Chapman.
I think this say I gotta wait my turn. I think this video looks really good tonight.
Yeah, it does. So with Chapman, I know you mentioned it, but he can really run, bro. Like how many times when we were talking about
Long
receivers,
stride, dude.
like 80-20 balls, this guy, you throw it up with his size, and this kid can run. And I don't remember the last time we had a class when we were bringing in two receivers at 6'4" in the same class. I mean, I wish somebody could pull that. Somebody in the comments maybe knows, but when's the last time we were bringing in two outside receivers that could run like these guys can at that size? And then you bring in an elite playmaker like C.J. Sadler. And then there's some other receivers that we'll talk about tomorrow or Sunday that can freaking run too. So
oh yeah, man.
I'm excited about that. But Chris, let's turn to the guy that's going to be throwing on the ball.
I got you. I'll intro it for you. Next one is Travis Burgess. Everything is advertised. And then what I mean by that is just a human being as well. We've had the opportunity to sit down with him and, do a behind the commitment. And it truly is an honor to be able to do those because we get the privilege, at the Tar Pit to not only have that time with them, right, but we do work leading up to those episodes, connecting. We try to do a really good job of not only connecting with the players, but connecting with the families and just welcome them to the Tar Pit community, or not Tar Pit community, but Carolina community. And so we get to work on them, help them with drafting questions. What are some of the things that's important for them that they want to touch on? And Travis, his dad, Harold, former military, retired from the military. So we're thankful for his service. We've had the opportunity to connect with him. Just amazing family there. And, talking with Travis today through Instagram and a couple of other ways. I thought it was very interesting. We put out a video we worked on with him and he sent it to us and it was blurry. We didn't say anything back, because we didn't want to say, bug him or seem ungrateful or anything. So we used it. Within 5 minutes of being posted, reaches out to us. He's like, guys, is this video blurry to you guys? We're like, yeah. He's like, can you take that down? I'm going to send you a different new one. And so I say that to say because excellence, right? Image is important. And that's the type of kid he is. I think it's interesting too, right? With Lawrence Brown going to state, of course, you see people saying, oh, because we just lost the state, right? For the 5th year in a row. And then for the first time in the Belichick era, right? Doran mentions, I think Dave Doran mentioned something about today was, if last time I checked, every year that we've beat Carolina, we've had a lower ranked class. And somebody, a local reporter, put that up there and said Dave takes another shot and wins another one against Belichick. Right. But what they failed to mention, of course, is that when it came to Travis Burgess, it was between NC State, Auburn, and Carolina, to the point where Travis actually took an official, where he took a visit to NC State. And actually, they did a home visit to him as well. And at the end of the day, who did Travis choose? He chose Carolina. But of course, they don't want to mention that. But Travis Burgess, offer sheet throughout the 9. Some people might think I'm crazy when I would say this next about Travis Burgess, is that he is one I felt is slightly under recruited. And what I mean by that, in the conversations we have with his family, is that they were kind of late to the game when it came to understanding the process, moving from a different state, ended up at Grayson, was late to the recruiting game, because people just think, oh, well, kids get discovered. If you're good, you get discovered. That's not always the case, right? That's why you see kids go to JUCO or a different level and then have to work their ways up because they just weren't in a position where they were discovered. And so Travis Burgess is one I felt like was slightly under recruited. But at the end, he made his name known, Elite 11. Travis, I'm going to kick it to you. What are some of your thoughts around Travis Burgess? What are y'all laughing about?
You call me Travis.
Just called him
Jesus,
Travis.
I know, man. Calvin Ridley, and I called Trevor Travis.
It's all right. Hey, this is on the fly, instant reactions.
I don't usually do episodes this late.
We're good. Travis, man, he is. You took a lot of it that I was going to say. The biggest thing is his family, man. He reminds me a lot of Drake May's family in a way. He comes from a really good family. He's in that same. Speaking about Drake May, he's the highest ranked quarterback we've had since Drake May. The size, man, and the big thing with Travis too, which you mentioned with Chapman, you mentioned with Sadler, all of these guys are multiple sport athletes. Travis, I remember when we did our behind the commitment, we were talking to him. He's like, I can really play basketball. Y'all ain't seen me play basketball. And not only with his dad saying they got on the recruiting scene late, but if I remember correctly, Travis didn't start playing quarterback until his sophomore year. Right.
Yeah.
So this kid, he's nowhere near his ceiling. He went down Elite 11, lit it up with some of the top quarterbacks in the country. I believe he ended up finishing like 4th in the Elite 11. He's very accurate. He's very athletic. Played, Grayson, his first year as a full starter, first year head coach at Grayson, they go and win a state title. Right. This kid can make every throw, and I'm very excited about Travis because this is the type that especially with the guys we just talked about at receiver, you pair these guys up. Like I said, boys, it reminds me a lot when we brought in Drake May, we had Kobe. There was so many receivers and like elite playmakers that were around Drake in that class. So with him, man, he's very good. And I don't think he gets taught enough about how good he can run. And I think he's just only going to get better. And I remember Travis, when we were talking to him, that was one thing he was excited about, obviously with Bill Belichick, is the continuing to develop him. Right. He did a post when he tweeted TB and BB back together again. So I'm very excited for this edition. And, it'll be curious to see how fast he's obviously coming off an injury, which sucks. We've talked to him and we've seen the videos he's posted. Seems to be going ahead of schedule with that. I'm not sure how soon he can resume, full football activities. He'll be an early enrollee. So I'm very excited to see the future with Travis Burgess.
Yeah, all good stuff there. One of the things.
Can I mention one thing about Travis real quick? Because I know we're over. It'll be super quick. Y'all know I love my comps. I've said it. He reminds me a lot of Trevor Lawrence. That's my comp, Trevor Lawrence.
I like it.
That's all I got. Trevor hit everything else I was going to say. Good kid.
He didn't hit everything. He is not only all that, but he is also a competitor.
Yeah.
He's a
I got
dog.
I've
If
got
you-
a lot. I got a lot to say about Travis Burgess. He's a great quarterback.
And what I think about that, what it tends when I go in the area of competitor. If you go back to the game that he tore his ACL in, it was before the rain delay that they came to in that game, and he had already known something was wrong with it, right? And he does use the run game as part of his. He does use his running as part of his game, right? Being able to escape the pocket. His team was down in that game, if you guys recall, and he told everybody, "No, I'm not going out like this. I'm going to go back out. It's already torn. No more other damage can be done to it." And he willed his team back to victory. I think they were down, don't quote me on this, but I think it was like 21-7 at the time or something like that. Came back in the game, made himself stay in the pocket because he couldn't run, which you got to think too, that's hard to do when that's your instincts, right? Stayed in the pocket on a torn ACL for the rest of the game and willed his team back to victory. That's a dog.
Yeah, he's got a high motor, and I'll go ahead and say it since we're on the topic of him. We talk about the luxuries we've had at quarterback at Carolina with Drake and Sam and Marquise and Mitch and Bryn. One of the things that those guys have in common is they all love Carolina. And they're all excited to be a quarterback at the University of North Carolina. And I think Travis is excited and ready to get on campus at Carolina and start working. Obviously, I know he's got that injury that he's rehabbing. So it'll be good for him to get on campus early and start getting with our trainers and go ahead and start getting that next level rehab in the building. But he's a guy, man, and we've talked to him. He's very thankful for every opportunity that comes his way. He's a humble kid. And not only that, he can ball on the field. He's going to let you know too. There was a saying that he said in one of his highlights, and I can't remember what it was. Said something about go hoop or something like that. He's a dog, man. And that's the kind of quarterback I want. I said he reminds me a lot of Trevor Lawrence and just the way that he moves in the pocket, and his ability to run. His mechanics remind me a lot of him too. So I'm excited for what he can bring to the quarterback position at Carolina. Obviously, it's a topic of discussion. I think Pat with WREL. I got a throat strife, fellas. Sorry.
Take you a sip of water, buddy.
Pat, I'm over here. I'm on my second one of these already in this episode.
Get you a sip of water, buddy.
Pat asked a question about, the quarterback situation and whatnot, and Travis, and they said that they're going to, be open. Mike said he was going to be open to all of that and evaluating the team and overall and figuring out where they need to go. But Travis is a guy, he's a program guy, and I'm excited that he's in our quarterback room. Him getting being on campus early, being with our staff, our rehab, all that, it's going to bode well for his game.
Good stuff, guys. I want to transition to this next Calvin Thomas, but to Trevor and Troy's benefit here, they've both been sick, so that's probably why I was kind of like, get you some water, buddy. They've both been sick. I think Trevor's had a fever today, on and off, or something like that. But
y'all know I'm no stranger to getting my hydration on camera.
There you go.
I joked about that earlier on.
Let's go Calvin Thomas. This is another one. And I know we got like 250 in here right now. So I just want to say this is our instant reactions on the day. We've kind of already done our instant reactions. Now we're just kind of highlighting a few players. Because we don't highlight some players tonight doesn't mean we think that they're less important than the other ones, right? We're just choosing a few tonight. And then tomorrow we'll be back on at 8:30, and we're going to go 20 commits. And we're going to go one by one and give each commit at least 3 to 5 minutes, something like that. And then you'll be able to we'll slice out that 3 to 5 minute player. Let's say Travis Burgess, Fodney Cleveland, Calvin Thomas, not Calvin Ridley, Calvin Thomas.
Good job.
And you'll find them on YouTube, and you'll be able to go and find that video anytime you want. If you want to go back and what's it called? Not when you can do like a screenshot, clip somebody, right? Yeah. If we were really wrong or something like that. That's how you can go and clip us.
You're asking people to clip us? Good God.
Nah, clip it.
Nah, it's this is Belichick's first class, man. It's we got to pay it the respect. Go ahead.
And then Sunday night we'll do 20 more at 9:00. So tomorrow 8:30, 20, Sunday 20 at 9:00. Let's go, Calvin Ridley. This is another one that we had the honor and privilege to talk with his dad. I think his dad is also another military veteran. So shout out to him.
Brother is too.
Brother is too. Were all three of us on that, or just Okay.
No, just y'all two.
It was just me and you, Chris.
Yeah. Had the opportunity to sit down with Calvin and then also talk with his dad on and off throughout the year. Awesome family. Dude's a competitor. Dude's a dog. Knows for the football. He's got the size.
Yes, sir.
Let's see here. I had it pulled up. He's a composite 4-star. When you look at 247, it's like an 89. That's basically a 4-star. 34th ranked linebacker in the nation, according to 247 Sports. 6'3", another massive kid already at 215 pounds.
Long and lanky too.
Yes, and he has a nose for the football, and he knows already how to take really good angles, according to the film that I was watching. And I don't want to take away from what Troy and Trevor got to say, but if you look at his offer sheet, I mean, this is incredible. They pulled a kid out of Texas, and not only that, but he visited in May, was able to get a commitment a few months ago, and able to keep him committed out of Texas. And it came down between us and Texas and Nebraska. So it was, and then he's got Michigan on his offer sheet, SMU. Super incredible. Great job done by the coaching staff. Tyler Nichols, or is it Todd Nichols? Was his main recruiter, right?
Yeah. Ty. Yep.
Yeah. Which he already had a Texas connection anyway. I think
he's our outside linebackers coach, or linebackers coach at Carolina.
He did a really good job. So either one of you guys want to get in here, I'm not going to kick it to whoever you want. And then next, just to let y'all know, we'll go Ruffin.
I'll start it off with Calvin, because this is a guy that I'm personally fired up to see how he develops and what he can do in a Carolina uniform. Chris, you said his measurable is 6'3", I believe it is.
Yeah, 215.
Long and lanky kid. He plays that outside linebacker edge. I'd love to see him coming off the edge at 6'3", because he has a nose for the football and an ability to get in the backfield. We saw what Melcart and Tyler were able to do this season. I think you get Calvin in. He's a guy that's I believe he's coming in early, if I'm not mistaken. But you get him in and you start letting his pass rush progress and let him, develop. He's a guy, man, that I think has one of the highest ceilings out of anybody in this 2026 recruiting class. He is one of my favorite guys that we're bringing in. And the tape speaks for itself. This is his junior season highlights. So we don't even have his senior season yet. This is just what I was able to pull off his Huddle account. And he was doing this as a junior. And everybody knows how Texas football is. I mean, he's posted pictures of some of these stadiums that he's playing in, man. It looks like they're, FCS level football stadiums, or sometimes maybe even bigger than that. I mean, there's no
boys, that's a big quarterback. I'm sorry, Troy. Look how big that quarterback is right there.
Yeah, let's see. Watch, he's gonna make a play. But he's a guy, man, I'm super excited about. His ability to get in the backfield is what stands out to me. He sheds blocks well. I think he had a pick 6 in one of these highlights. You see him drop back in coverage. If there was one thing about his game that I would like to see probably progress more, is his ability to drop back in coverage. We saw Tyler Thompson do that a little bit this season in some packages on defense, but mostly you can see him in the backfield. That's what I got.
Oh, I love it, bro. Hey, I don't want to – you're talking about Trevor Lawrence, and I guess it got me on the Clemson Tiger guys, but I would love for Calvin, with his frame, man, to develop into an Isaiah Simmons type. Remember Isaiah Simpson, him at Clemson, man? Yep. He's Calvin's got you may have said it, but he's got a nose for the football. He's in on every play. He's in on every play, man.
He's quick.
Yeah, and the thing with this kid, I remember when I watched the episode when y'all had him on, and the thing with him, he always like it was like I'm just ready to get there so they can develop me. I'm focused on this is where I need to improve. It wasn't just like making tackles. It was like my technique here. He like broke down his game to a level for me. It was like, wow, that's
Oh,
like
did you see that one? What a
I'm telling
good
you, dude.
ball
I'm telling
hawk
you,
move
bro.
right there.
When you watch Calvin Thomas's tape, it will get you fired up to see what he's going to do for
That's
Carolina.
a heck of a move right there.
His
He
ability.
split that gap perfectly.
I'm telling you, man. He is fun to watch. I'd love to see. I'm gonna message his dad, see if I can get a hold of his senior season highlights or something, just to see what he's been doing this season. But I'm telling you, man, he is the guy that you talk about the 26 class as a whole. He's the guy that's high up on my list of guys that I'm excited to see how he progresses in Carolina, because he's got the tools on film to be great, and I think we've got us one with him.
So
He's one of those.
at
I think
6'3".
he's one of those low 3 or a high 3, low 4-star guys. He's the dude.
And he runs track. Or he ran track, right? He can run, especially for his size. So I'm with you, man. I think Calvin is underrated.
He has a really good, just like stick and plant and
let his link help use his link to his advantage. If
like
if he's getting hands on you, bro, you're getting tripped up or something.
Like right here, if it was not for his length, he would not make this tackle. Watch this right here.
Yep.
Do you see that's high level IQ right there?
I'm telling you, man, he's
also well coached. It looks like you see him. He's on the outside here, lurking on the outside there, and the outside linebacker on the left side. Looks like he wants to go outside, but then sees the gap open and feels it. But watch what I'm talking about is his length here. If he doesn't have this length, he doesn't make this tackle.
It's a twist stunt with the outside linebacker, I believe. Is what they call it.
It looked like some kind of disguise there. One thing about him too, and I would like to know, is he like this in the locker room? Is that when we had him, he's like a silent killer. When we talk,
he's about his business.
Like he was like, yes sir, no sir, yes sir. Short sentences to the point, just good kid. Yep. But I would like to know, is he like that all the time? Of course, I'm sure he's more like, outgoing stuff, but I feel like he just has that like stealth mode where like once the ball is spotted, it's game on.
You know who, and it's crazy that you say that to me. You say that to me because I thought the same thing about him. His ability, the way he goes about it, is almost. I'm almost hesitant to give this comp because it's a wild one. People might kind of raise eyebrows at me, but his ability and how he moves around the field and his ability to get in the backfield and just how he operates reminds me a lot of Luke Kuechly a little bit, to be honest with you.
I'm not gonna lie, that was in my head, but I didn't want to say it. That was in my head too, bro. But
that's a clip. That's a clippy moment.
And this right here sticks out to me. Rewind that, Chris.
Yes, sir.
Look at, if you don't mind. I don't know how to do it. I'm like Bren between the ears. This dude comes all the way down, and I mean I don't even think he's at a jog when he starts to take off. But I mean, the guy scored, but it shows you what kind of motor he has too in his effort. He gets taken out of the play completely. Tracks the ball, finds where the ball is, and then tries to hawk him down. That's effort to me. I had my college coach tell me one day we went to LaGrange. We played LaGrange College on the road, and I was in the slot. I had Armani Williams on the outside. He was a 6'6" kid, played at VMI, and he caught the ball, and it was like a gang tackle trying to bring him down, and I ran up and pushed a pile, and my receiver coach was like, "Troy, you can play for me at any point in time." The effort plays, the stuff that he was taken out of the play and still tried to hawk the guy down and save a touchdown. So you love to see that from a kid that young.
Love it. All good stuff there. Okay, let's go roughing for our last one tonight. And then we'll kind of recap where we're at and kind of give the lay of the land one more time for all the listeners that are just hopping in and where we're going with this over the next week or two.
Are we going roughing or Vodney?
We're going to go roughing and say Vodney. While you were talking, we decided that in the private chat over here.
Okay.
Sorry, buddy.
Right.
No, we didn't.
We didn't?
Look at the chat. We don't have roughing.
Yeah, but okay.
Yeah, no, we don't
Let's
have.
Talk about let's tap into Vodney. Obviously, we're big fans of Trayshawn Ruffin. That's our guy.
we saving Ruffin for tomorrow. Yeah,
Well,
I didn't pull Ruffin. I didn't pull Ruffin stat or I guess film tonight.
Let's just say Ruffin is as advertised as a player and a person.
He is big fan of Trayshawn Ruffins. I'm excited to see what Trev's got to say about Vodney.
With Vodney, bro, I mean, he's the guy that I said when I was talking to the guy earlier today. He said the guy that has the motor. And Vodney is, I want to say, I'm going to pull it up now. I think Vodney's what, 330, boys?
310, I think, or 305 last time I looked.
So 247's got him at 320 right now.
Jesus, I was so wrong.
Never
him, question Trevor when it comes to recruiting.
For him,
bro.
his twitch, bro.
Master
at his size, his twitch. This kid I mean, there's a reason Bama and Texas wanted him. This is a freaking dog, right? How many times have we said that tonight? Vodney is a guy that you can also build your program around, right? Vodney's a guy that, I mean, he's a guy that is, if he comes and plays this year, and even not, I don't know how many snaps he'll play, right? He's a true freshman, but this is a guy that if you wait after a year in college, you're getting him a lot cheaper now than you will when he's in the freaking transfer portal, right?
Yeah.
Because these D linemen, these O linemen, they're the most expensive things to get in the portal besides your quarterback, obviously.
You got to have a good one.
Yeah, but the thing with Vodney, how many times have I said it? And the guy I got it from was Lombardi. You build the teams from the inside out. We're bringing in 10 defensive linemen, 6 offensive linemen, or 7 just from the high school class. We'll probably go out and get more in the portal. But Vodney's a guy with his frame, with his twitch. You get him with Moses Cabrera. We saw this D-line develop, guys. We talked about the D-line. What was it? It was one of our biggest concerns going in. With the way this D-line developed, with a guy like Vodney Cleveland that is by far the highest ranked kid out of anybody that we had on that D-line this year when it comes to high school numbers, this kid could be very, very good. And he's, like I said, his twitch at that size, gap filler. And I brought in that picture of all 3 of them, man. All 3 of these dudes up front, all of them are above, 315, 330?
Moses going to have some fun with them 3. Carving them boys up and getting them in shape. He going to have some fun.
Him and Trayshawn, they're workout freaks, man. They are always working out. They are always training. So I'm very excited for Vodney. There's a reason I've been talking to Vodney since June. Like, Vodney, eventually you're gonna flip, bro. I want you to come on the Tar Pit. So eventually we're gonna get Vodney on for a behind the commitment. I can't wait for that one. But he's the guy on the defensive side of the ball that I'm not gonna say like more excited about than somebody, but I'm very excited that we flipped him from Texas because I think he can be special.
I'm with you, Trev. I haven't really watched much Vodney Cleveland tape, but I do know the type of talent that he is, and he is definitely something. I didn't really realize the frame that he brings to the table. You look at him, man. Moses is going to have a blast carving him up in the weight room, and you say he's a workout junkie. You know, you get him on campus early. You get him in that weight room, and I'm anxious to see what kind of shape he is come, spring ball or, fall camp. You know what I mean? Spring ball is probably a little bit too early, but you get him in. You're muted, Chris. You get him in the weight room. You fill him out. He's got the talent, and there's been some guys across that at his position specifically that, didn't really pan out at Carolina. Not to name anybody specific, but that dude with that motor and his talent and his work ethic, he's somebody I think can be really, really special.
And that's how that conversation came up. We specifically, when I was talking to this guy, he was talking about former big time D lineman. It didn't work out. He said the thing with Vodney is he loves it, and you got to pull him away.
Yep.
You got to tell him to take a break.
And that's what you want out of a D tackle.
Yep.
I mean, that's what you want. Somebody that's going to fill a gap, but also not let the running back. You know, if he's going after contact on first sight, he's hitting something. He's getting in a play, and that's what I'm most excited about with Vodney is his ability to cause chaos, I guess you could say.
And him and Ruffin, they just from speaking with both of them, man, they seem like the type of guys that lead a room. These big D linemen that are like just leaders. Like and they'll let you know if you ain't giving effort, they're gonna let you know, right?
I'm down here in these trenches working. Y'all better tighten up.
There's a reason why Ruffin was first this morning on Twitter.
He wanted to be.
Trayshawn, man, he is a guy that we've had him on here several times. We've talked to his dad, Sean. I saw him at a game multiple times this season. He's a unit, number one, but he's a guy you talk about people that love to be at Carolina, that love UNC. He's a program guy. So I'm excited to have Trayshawn Ruffin on, just about as happy as I am to have anybody on that we're going to talk about over the next several days.
Yeah, shout out to Ruffin. He was the first player to ever be on a game day live show.
Yeah, the first one, week 1.
And he taught us something really quick. You know what it was? That you put players and former players in the middle. Because if you put them on the side of our set for live game day,
it blocks out everybody.
It blocks out everybody else because they're such big people. So like even like Bryn Renner, like when he comes, like, and JJ, like even though they're 6'2", I think Trevor, you might be the tallest one out of all of us. What are you?
I'm like 6'2".
No way.
Nah, I'm like, I don't know, bro. 5'9", 5'10".
Yeah, same on a good day. So like those guys, like we always put them on in the middle now, so they don't like engorge everybody. But man, this has been fun, boys.
I'm excited, man, to break this class down in more depth and really look at the film and what these guys are bringing to Carolina, man. I think we've got guys across the board that are program guys, but they're playmakers, they're difference makers, and they are foundation players. And Lombardi said it, Trevor, you said it earlier. This class didn't, when they started working on the 2026 class, they didn't really envision a class of 40. But hats off to them and the recruiting staff and the scouting department for, going after guys that, during the season, they saw areas of need, areas of weakness, certain positions. And you'll never convince me that high school recruiting in the transfer portal era is not as important as having transfer portal talent. You have to have high school guys to come in. Lane Kiffin, for example, one of the main reasons, and Nick Saban said this on College Game Day, and you know how that relationship is. He felt that he could probably recruit better at high school instead of supplementing his team every year through the transfer portal. And that at Carolina and where we're at in our position, you have to have a good recruiting class, year in, year out. And this is their first one. And so for it to be top 15, I think they came out, it was top 12. It's top 12 on ESPN. I know, because I looked. It's a statement. And I'm anxious to see how these guys develop and pan out over the course of their Carolina career, man. It's exciting.
I love that too. Because one thing I used to hate with Mac was there'd be guys that we'd hear about, like, oh, he wants to come to UNC, or we should go after him. Oh, we don't got a spot for him. The numbers don't match up. So I love that about this era, that we can, because I remember there was a guy, Quincy Roach from Temple. I wanted Quincy Roach so bad. Our OG listeners probably Quincy Roach, and it came down, oh, we don't got a spot for him. Right. So I'm
and how many guys did we see that we didn't have a spot for go on to different programs and be impact players? And like, damn.
Yep.
Elijah Green.
Well, he was good at Carolina.
Well, okay, what I meant like, but he still went on and continued his deal at different schools. So different.
It made it cut you off, Trevor.
Different storyline there, but still kind of like, why couldn't we keep him? You know. Any final thoughts, or was y'all's final thoughts?
Yeah,
that's all. For me. All I got. Hey, we did a good job of keeping it to 45 minutes.
It's exciting though, man. During this today reminded me, Trevor, you've been high on high school recruiting for Carolina. That's how you and I got introduced through Brad and connected through Carolina recruiting. And today reminded me, pouring into content and studying film and talking about this current Tar Heel team and the current landscape of Carolina football. You kind of put recruiting on the back burner a little bit, but as we've grown, we've tapped into guys and made connections within this 2026 recruiting class, and it reminded me how fun it was to sit down and see who the future of your program is, and that's what makes me excited about it. So that's my last rant. I'm ready for tomorrow night at 8:30 and Sunday at 9.
Yep. So Troy just reminded us all. I think there's around 280 people fully tapped in across all platforms. So here's what we're doing tonight, was just instant reactions with just a couple of players. Just because we mentioned these players didn't mention other players doesn't mean they're more important or less talented or more talented, or however you want to put it. It's just what we went with tonight. Instant reactions. If you're just joining us and you missed the beginning, you can go back. We answered questions like, first reactions when you saw the full class. Did UNC meet, exceed, or fall short of your expectations? What was the biggest wow moment of the day? What surprised you the most? We didn't get into this one, which would be interesting. Are you officially seeing Belichick identity in recruiting? Well, I guess we did kind of, definitely for sure. I think you are. So tomorrow night, 8:30 p.m., 20 commits. We'll spend 3 to 5 minutes on each one. Then you'll be able to get into that individual. We'll cut those out individually, just like we do for our position group breakdowns going into a new season. So you'll be able to find Travis Burgess, Calvin Thomas, so on and so forth. That individual video on YouTube. So remember, over the next month or two, we'll be loading in 40 videos on YouTube. And Troy and Trevor are going to help me with that. And so that's going to be at 8:30 tomorrow night, 20 commits. Then Sunday night, 9 p.m., 20 commits. We appreciate all you joining in tonight. Really quick, if you're looking for some game day gear, remember you can always stop by Shrunken Head Boutique or Tailgate by Shrunken Head. You can visit both of them on Franklin Street, right around the Sutton's Grill area, which if you've never been there, you should check them out. Awesome food. Been there a long time. Use the coupon code, always online or in store, Tar Pit Pod. You'll get 15% off your order all year round. Football season, game-wise, just wrapped up. But here at the Tar Pit Podcast, it keeps going as we break down commits, recruits, transfer portal, all that stuff moving forward. Maybe some coaching staff changes. You never know. Got a lot of questions of those and thoughts on those in the comments tonight, but you never know. So, look, we appreciate all you guys join us tonight at the Tar Pit Podcast for our instant reaction for the 2026 signing day. And until next time, go Heels.
Go Heels.
Go Heels.
Hey Tar Pit crew, thanks for hanging with us today. Quick shout out. Today's episode is powered by Untapped Sports Network. Big thanks to them for the support. If you like this episode, do us a favor. Like it, drop a comment, and share it with a friend. That kind of support goes a long way in keeping the podcast rolling. Make sure you're subscribed and following the Tar Pit Podcast on whatever platform you're listening on right now. And don't forget to follow us on social. We're on X, formerly Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Just search the Tar Pit Podcast and you'll find us. Until next time, go Heels.